We're back.
Welcome to Tea Time on KSFS Radio, San Francisco at ksfsmedia.net/radio. KSFS is a department of the Broadcast and Electronic Communications Department at San Francisco State University. Some rights reserved under Creative Commons license.
Nailed it.
Almost.
You almost had it.
Almost.
Tripped up a
Very
little bit.
close. Very close.
Cool. Good for you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, welcome back. It was Tim and me. I was on the radio.
Tea Time.
Doing some tea time stuff. So we're going to tee off with two special guests on today.
What are we talking about, Lucas?
Oh, I guess we'll talk about the topic first before we bring them in, huh? They don't get to be in yet. Talking about self-image, talking about self-esteem, stuff that everything that happens on this the top layer, you know, like trying to prove to people who you are, I guess, or just maybe it's all a lie, maybe it's true. Kind of that stuff that starts in high school and carries on into college, I'm sure. And I guess we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff that I guess that has changed with our generation, how like the way we view ourselves has changed, and with like Twitter and Instagram and all those things and stuff like that. So why don't we just bring these girls in, because we've got girls on our show now, guys.
Yay.
We have girls. Yeah. They have a bigger budget. You should try Mike 5 for this.
Oh yeah, I think we might have a third girl in the studio. Go ahead and try it.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, it's kind of
Can't
working.
tell if it's
Almost
working
there.
through our mics.
Yeah.
I'm the third girl.
No, I don't think it's quite
working.
working, but
It's not
Anyways.
great, but
We'll get it
you can
fixed.
chime in with really like background effects or something
I
like
feel
that.
wanted and beautiful.
Okay. So that's Anthony Zaccaro. He's been on our show a couple times.
who else
And-
do we have on the show?
Oh, introduce yourselves. I'd love that.
I'm Jules from Wednesday Night Lights.
Woo!
And I'm Megan from It Matters on Thursdays.
Woo!
What is it?
It Matters.
It Matters.
Political talk show.
Oh,
I think it's like one of the only political talk shows.
I thought the show was called It Matters on Thursdays. Like it just.
It matters
It
on
only
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Only on Thursdays. It's
Today's hair
important.
day.
Very critical. Okay, so let's see. What do we want to start talking about first? One thing I do want to mention, just because we're talking about self-image, is that video of those girls at that baseball game.
Oh, I love it.
That was hilarious. For those listeners out there who saw that, it was a baseball game between, who was it? You know it, right? The Rockies and the who? Tim?
Rockies and the Diamondbacks.
Right. But the fans mostly were, I guess, Cardinals fans, or they were wearing Cardinals
I
jerseys.
was
But
gonna
they were really
say,
just,
I'm not sure.
yeah,
they
they were
could be
just
considered
sorority girls
fans.
wearing gear to pretend like they
I'm
were.
not sure what
The
team
wrong gear.
they thought.
Not
Yeah.
gear that matched either team.
Yeah, whatever the hashtag was their team.
Oh my God,
But
baseball.
yeah, the whole time they were selfieing, and then like the commentators were just like commenting it the whole time. Like every time there was it's like, hey, they just made a home run, and no one's watching, and they're just like, go over to them. Let's see. So how do I transition into self-image with that? Well, selfies.
They were taking
Self-image.
selfies, yeah.
Selfies. Selfie image. There you go. I don't know. I do feel like things have changed a little bit in the way people like to view themselves because of social network. I find myself at a lot of parties with people kind of just taking pictures, like just kind of like not really there at the party, but they're more in with their phone. Like I don't know. Like that's kind of like what.
I think you can kind of broaden that to
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just, it's like at freaking grocery stores. It's like, excuse me, can you move?
Yeah.
Like you're literally texting
Yeah.
or like Snapchatting, and I'm trying to reach behind you and get a freaking apple,
Yeah.
That's selfishness. I mean, not thinking about anybody else around you but yourself
Yeah.
all the time. That's kind of normal now.
Now, yeah, unfortunately.
It's like people go places just to take a cool picture for Instagram or
Right.
something. It's not about going and enjoying the moment anymore. It's like, oh, I got to show up to this game or this party or this event because I need to make sure that everyone on my Instagram knows that I was here and I looked good while I was here, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Honestly,
It's pretty
it's
annoying.
more about image than actual friendship, person. It's like, what do I look like to my friends on Facebook, as opposed to, am I a good friend to my friends on Facebook?
Well, and that's my first reaction when you were introing this show and wondering, you said we're going to talk about image and like where we think it's at now. My first reaction is that social media has just demolished any self-worth, to be honest.
Yeah. It's like everybody's competing.
Right.
Almost. Which is, I mean, I kind of, I was talking with Anthony about this earlier about how I appreciate Snapchat and how like everything kind of goes away after you do it. It is still like that moment that people are bragging about, but I do like that they don't, like it isn't about likes.
Can't
it isn't about
glorify it.
commenting on it, and it's everybody like, oh, they didn't like this. I'm gonna take this down because it didn't get enough likes. I mean, I can't really escape from social networks, but I do like that one because of it. Facebook is just like, it's literally people picking the best parts of their life that they want to show and
Right.
all that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I know with Facebook it was funny because we were talking about like the change from MySpace to Facebook. And I was saying very confidently that in 5 to 10 years, I can see it going from Facebook to LinkedIn because LinkedIn is already set up like Facebook. And
But
then
more professionally.
Interesting.
Right, but so when I was in high school, Facebook started when I was like 17, 18, and I couldn't get a Facebook because I wasn't in college, because Facebook was a college networking site. So when
What year was
and that
do you remember what year
changed,
this was? Because I remember
2007, 2008.
Yeah, because I do remember a lot of high school students still doing it. Like, even though it was
Right.
for
Well,
college,
it was
they would
kind of
still
like-
just do it. Yeah, it's like, oh,
It's
look
like dating
at me.
a college
Yeah,
guy
I'm
or
official.
girl. Right.
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, she's so grown up. She uses Facebook, not
Right.
MySpace.
But that change took 3 years.
yeah.
Like I was graduating high school I swear 3 years I think is a very accurate number, but it went from, oh, what's Facebook to I'm deleting my MySpace. And I think that's going to turn into LinkedIn very soon. So my thought process, sorry, like go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say we've kind of seen that with Instagram. Like, I feel
Right.
like so many people, they're like, oh, I don't even go on Facebook. That's for old people now. My grandma's on Facebook, and it's like, and it's all about Instagram, which I've held out. I never got an Instagram. I don't want to be part of it, honestly. But, like those girls in the baseball video, I have a sister who's that age. And so I can totally relate. It's like, that's what that age group cares about, is not how they look to like for their own self-confidence, for how they feel about themselves. It's for everyone else. Everything
Right.
is for everyone else. How do I look on my social medias? It's really sad.
Right. Well, and that was the thing too, is it went from, because people are like, well, I wouldn't share who I'm dating on LinkedIn. And that was my thing is, well, why are you sharing it at all? Like
Yeah.
someone said that and I was like, well, wait, why? Like I kind of had that, everyone has this epiphany where it's like, why am I sharing my whole entire life for 600 people at one time to see?
Well, and then
Yeah.
I also saw an argument to be devil's advocate this morning about somebody just said, hey, if they're real friends on your Facebook, A, there's not going to be that many, and B, the ones that you do have will care about your day-to-day life and what you do and the simple things that you think that nobody cares about. Well, if you have a really nice breakfast or you have a good birthday and you post about it, like, your friends are probably going to care. I mean,
Right.
if they care about
Yeah,
you, if they
that's
hang out with
legit.
you. But posting your personal business is up to you. It's your prerogative. I mean, people that kind of post that for people that aren't their friends, they're just attention seekers in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or the sympathy seekers, the Facebook ranting emotional
Right.
people.
Which is funny because then I know we're totally off topic now at this point, but it's like the whole kind of the suicide-y thing where it's like there's the Columbine guy who flat out was like, I'm going to kill people, and no one did anything about it. But then there's the people that are like, my life, and it's like, well, why is it my job to like go out of my way? But then you're on my Facebook feed, so why am I friends with you on Facebook in general?
But on the other
Yeah.
hand, there might be people just sincerely calling for help and they don't know how
that's-
to go about it.
That's what I mean, is that when you have like 20 people on your Facebook feed that are like, my life sucks, it's like, well, my life sucks too, but I'm also trying to like, I don't know, it's just interesting.
No, I know what you mean. It's like people asking for people to comment, and it's like grabbing attention. People really need
Yeah.
attention like that, and they use Facebook, a lot of other social networks for that. I think the main reason I do it is because I kind of feel somewhat pressured to use it to keep so that people who really care about me keep up with what I'm doing. Like,
Well,
I have a lot of older relatives. They're like,
Right.
you're never posting on there. It's like, I don't care. Like, I
Right.
don't care
Literally
about
have it for
Facebook.
you,
Like,
so-
it's for you guys.
Yeah.
And like, I'll maybe say like, if there's a big life event, like I definitely haven't added my new job to it. But when I do, I know that like some people will be like, oh, cool, yeah, great. And that's probably the last thing I'll post for a long time.
Right.
I don't really go on there and say, like, this is my opinion of Donald Trump. This is my opinion of this. It's just a cluster F of people's opinions on Facebook I can't keep up with, so I don't
Most
want
of
to
the
add to
time.
that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, my purpose for Facebook is just making people smile. Like, if I can share something, even if I didn't write it or didn't make it,
Yeah.
if it's something funny or something that they might think is interesting, if I can bring something interesting to their life, then yeah.
Oh yeah,
good.
one cat video can totally change your day.
Yeah.
Which is actually true.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I do on Facebook now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
You just scroll down until you see a funny video.
Yeah,
really.
so for
That's
example,
all it is
like,
now. It's like
yeah,
YouTube.
I know of like the thumbnail of the sorority girls. Like I never
Yeah.
I've yet to see that video. But when people talk about it, I'm like, oh, I saw
I've
that.
seen the
But did you
picture,
see
yeah.
the panda video?
Yeah.
Like that's what I clicked on and
Yeah.
spent my time watching.
And panda sneezing is like
Yeah.
top 3 on YouTube ever. So
Yeah,
So
that's
cute.
crazy.
But I have a hard problem because I think social media is really dangerous as far as self-image goes. Like,
Sorry, I
It's-
was just thinking about the panda video.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted
No,
you.
it's all good. I'm just
You think
trying
Panda
to.
cares about his self-image? No.
Sorry.
Panda knows who he is.
Panda knows who he
the
is.
panda knows who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Self-image
know.
Well,
panda.
here's the thing: Facebook is a visual medium, whereas and we're stimulated by visuals 90% of the time when
Which
it comes to the
is
media.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Right. It's like the whole
Instagram
point.
is just
It's like
oh,
instant
there you go.
gratification.
Yeah,
Right.
but if we had like
Wait,
Man.
instant gratification?
Oh.
Instagram? Did we just figure it out, guys?
Instant gratification.
Instagram.
Mind blown.
Womp
Yikes.
womp.
Suddenly, we just all get shot. Somebody comes in here
Yeah,
and kills
yeah.
us all.
Like some NSA guy like points his gun through that window.
They're dead, sir.
Yeah. They figured us out.
What were we talking about?
And that's why. Well, that's why I say that I like radio so much, and that's why
Right.
I put so much time into this and doing things that have to do with audio because we have 2 gorgeous women in the room and
Oh, thanks, man.
3 gorgeous guys in the
Oh, I
room.
thought you were talking about me.
But hey, you wouldn't know that because you're listening to us.
And
as
it
opposed
doesn't
to
matter.
Tim's here
watching
too.
us.
Yeah,
So-
actually, one time I was playing Halo online, and they told me that my voice sounded like a fat, ugly girl.
Wow.
So people actually really can judge from voices, you guys.
That's so
Apparently,
It's terrible.
they think they can.
But I think the social media and like our society gives people like that's awful to say to somebody. But they
Yeah,
think they can say it and they can say it because our whole life is based on image now.
Yeah, but
Like,
like
it's
there's
insane.
it's also on the flip side there's like no image there because there's no person. It's just a thing. It's just a person talking. It's like when people
Yeah.
troll online,
Right,
they
right,
troll
right, right,
because
right.
there's no consequence.
No repercussions.
No one's ever gonna find out who they are, and they just love doing it. And I guess that's why people just love trolling in general. And I've had my fun doing it, but not to random people, just my friends on Facebook or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that bothers me when like people go on there and just like
Dude,
women make up. I want small fact. Women make up 40% of gamers in general. So like when
Oh,
I hear
wow.
more stuff about
I did not
people
know
like
that.
making fun of girl gamers and all that stuff, it's so out of its time
Like,
now.
shut
There's
up,
so many
yeah.
women who are in the industry and who are some of the greatest like people who've worked in video games are women. So I don't know. It just bothers me when people still make fun of girls for playing video games. I don't get it anymore.
Making
It's
well,
like
but those are
fun of them.
ignorant people.
Some of them are actually
Yeah.
better than you. Just get over
I
it.
celebrate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the older you get, the more you realize that they're just ignorant and sad and uneducated, and it's like whatever.
Yeah.
I was even commenting on a post this morning about how online interactions, when it comes to guys that describe themselves as nice, are not nice at all. And I gave a ton of examples of like guys and their interaction with girls that they may or may not have met, or definitely not very acquainted with. And the fact that if a girl says no or whatever, and like just says whatever, I don't want to talk to you anymore, the guy will persist. And I basically was talking about how if you're a nice guy, you're going to respect anybody's wishes like a normal person. It's not some magic formula that you're going to change somebody's mind in that regard. And most of the time when guys hit up girls online, how many times is it, I really like your opinion on blank? It's not,
Yeah,
hey, you're
well, what's
hot.
nice anymore?
Right.
Like, I feel like, because going back to the whole self-image, selfishness, me, like what's nice anymore is really like common courtesy, but people think, oh, it's being so nice, to like hold a door open for someone or something. That's not being extra nice. That's what you're supposed to do.
Well, it's being extra nice compared to all the jerks in the world.
Right.
Well,
it's
we're
sad
not
that
we're not talking about just men to women though. I think
Yeah.
you're talking about
Well,
like
that's
just
general.
in
common
general.
courtesy.
Yeah,
right?
common courtesy. Like I'll hold the door for
Right.
anyone, if they're right behind me, But it's like on BART. How many times do I see like an older lady come on
Oh, I
BART,
can't
and all these
stand
young
it.
guys are sitting there in their suits and ties and just they don't care. They
In the
don't get
handicap
up.
section. Like
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, a lot of times. hmm
Yeah, I feel it.
It's really sad. I
annoying.
end up getting up to
Oh,
give
yeah.
my seat to an older woman or to a pregnant woman because the so-called gentlemen with their nice 9-to-5 jobs
Right.
and structured lives don't have the decency to get up and give their seat to them.
They're too busy to think about it.
Yeah.
Even somebody who just looks tired, I'll usually be like, I can stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
I
if
don't
you're
mind.
like one stop away or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend said in New York, she actually a pregnant woman got up for a more pregnant woman. Like she wasn't. I mean, she's like, oh yeah, like my friend. She said she wasn't showing yet, but there was another pregnant lady who was obviously pregnant who got on, and so it's
Right.
like. Pregnant people are getting up to give their seats to other pregnant people. What's wrong with the picture?
Yeah.
Sorry, way off topic, you guys. But
It's okay. All right. We're actually going to take a quick break, though. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What were you saying?
I don't
You
think the
have to
mic is
compare
working.
debates and whichever one's
We'll
right.
get him on soon enough.
Yeah.
Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
All right. Yeah. We'll be right back and play some promos.
African American.
Because African Americans are twice as likely to suffer a stroke as white Americans.
That's twice as likely a stroke could rob you of the freedom to speak your mind. Help beat the odds. Call 1-888-4STROKE or go online to strokeassociation.org.
Join the power to end stroke.
Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Would it be crazy if you just stopped everything, packed your bags and left for a week, a month, a year? What if you left for 2 years? Would people think you'd lost your mind? What if you were going far away to help in a village on the edge of the Gobi Desert? A village crowded with Buddhist temples, not skyscrapers. A place where there isn't a word for recluse, but 1,000 words for community. Would it be crazy to go 5,000 miles from home? To spend time with people the rest of the world only reads about? To build libraries and fill them with stories? Prepare a meal with food you helped grow? To teach children and learn a thing or two about yourself? Would that be crazy? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
Hello, I'm Roger Al-Sheikh, and I'm here with your KSFS News Brief. Yet another tragedy rocks a school campus, this time at Oregon's Umpqua Community College, where a shooter is dead Thursday after he opened fire, killing at least 10 people and injuring more than 20 others. Investigators are examining social media postings they believe were made by the suspect, according to a source with knowledge of the investigation. And here in the Bay Area, the rain that's fallen over the past few days is having a positive with regard to easing the drought and reducing the fire threat. But it's also coming with a big negative for drivers. Firefighters warn that even with this wet weather, it only takes a few dry or windy days to bring the fire conditions back up to dangerous levels. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is saying that Russia's airstrikes in Syria do not go beyond ISIS or other terrorist groups recognized by the United Nations Security Council or Russian law. Lavrov was addressing reporters at the UN in New York Thursday on the second day of airstrikes by Russian warplanes in Syria. And the US election.
And we're back. I just really like this.
Welcome back to Tea Time. We're
Sorry.
here with Megan, Lucas, myself, Tim, and Anthony.
Hello, everyone.
He has joined the show after switching seats with our former guest, Jules. Thanks, Jules, for being on the show. Once again, she had to go for an interview, but we are back.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right. So we were just talking about social network stuff. We could talk about that for a long time.
Hours.
Yeah, as Megan said. So let's see. What's some other stuff we could talk about?
Can I bring up some examples?
Okay.
Oh, you have like
Well, I
examples
have
of how
example-
you feel. What
About like self-image.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Because we also kind of want to divide it into self-image and like self-esteem sort of thing.
Oh, so let's
So
do...
if those are like two separate entities for you to talk about.
I don't know.
Image, go
we'll
for it.
continue
though.
on
Yeah.
self-image
Go
for a
for-
little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, so I was just talking about to my roommates the other day about how it's funny because I'll see certain girls that I, am or am not friends with, eventually become friends with, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, they're so great. Like, they're so cute, they're whatever. And then I meet them and I'm like, you're so lame. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to be like them because they're awesome. And then I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
know what you
funny.
mean.
Just based on other people's opinions of them, you mean?
No, like based on their social media.
Oh, social media, yeah.
Like based on what they talk about, what they choose to post, and I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, I want to hang out with this girl.
Yeah.
Because I like to surround myself with like cool women.
Yeah.
Like it's not a jealousy thing. It's like, no, let's be awesome together. And then I'm like, you're kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Or like, you're really actually really boring.
Yeah, there is a difference when someone, the image. Lucas and I knew a person like this. They spent so much time putting the image of what they wanted everyone to see up on their Instagram, and we would actually be hanging out with them, and they would take a picture, and that's totally not what we were doing.
Right.
The caption
Yeah.
is like some song lyric, and we were just at McDonald's,
Right.
and you turned around and took a picture of the sunset.
Right.
Like that's all we did that day. But
That's so funny.
you turned it into some like deep like artist within thing.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so I never saw like the merit in it. It just seemed like a waste of time.
Some people have really grown like followers and they put so much pressure on that, like, oh, I have this many followers and I have to entertain this many people all the time. And like I knew a girl that like we were just hanging out, like a bunch of us, and then she would just keep stopping to take pictures, and I didn't understand why. Like I thought it was just for fun, but she kept staring at her phone for a while, and she was doing the filters and all that, and she said, yeah, I have like X, I don't even remember how many followers, it was a lot, but she's like, I have this many followers and I just have to make sure that like I take care of it. I really care about my Instagram. And it's like,
oh really?
No,
Someone
you really
paying
care
you to
about
do
how
that?
they see you. It's like
Right.
all, because they're all photos of her. It's not like she's
Art or anything.
advertising or doing
Right.
any art, or like it's just about her and like what she's doing and the way she filtered it. It's like, and then people are liking it, and it doesn't take any merit to get somebody to press that for me.
Right.
I
And
don't
it's
know.
weird to me too when I like am about to post on Instagram. Like, am I self-conscious about what I just took a picture of and am posting to social media? Like my last one was just a plate of ribs with some potato salad because I was chowing down and I was really happy about it.
How dare you? How dare
And I know, and I was like, I
dare you.
felt to myself, I was like, wait, is this worth posting? And I'm like, well, it's my Instagram,
Right.
and I don't
doesn't
give a damn.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think about it. The last thing I did post was the blood moon thing, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that isn't gonna happen for another 18 years, maybe more than that. But like the last one happened in like the 80s, and it's crazy. It was like the red moon. That was cool, and I actually got like to see it.
That's
like,
You'll
so I
be-
took a picture of it.
You'll be posting about that on LinkedIn the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
professional.
funny.
Yeah, my background information. I've seen a blood moon.
Right.
Twice.
Yeah.
Or self-Instagram.
Hire this man.
I will say too that it's just interesting because I'm like just broke up with somebody. So what's funny to me thinking about my self-esteem, if you will, and like Instagram and social media is like I find myself, I'm the kind of person that's been like looking at his Instagram because I'd rather just see what's going to hurt my feelings right away and feel it and get it over with than like see it when I feel really great.
Really?
Yeah, like
So
I have no
I'm the
problem
same way.
admitting this at all.
I'm actually the opposite. I really don't. I don't think I have the strength. Maybe not like with every single person, but in my past, I feel like I just can't like look at their stuff.
I
'Cause
mean-
I feel like I'm gonna get that feeling.
right, but
And I'd rather do it when I'm stronger.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
If I had to like, at
I just
least
know
argue
it's
for
gonna
that side.
happen.
Yeah.
And like I got dumped, and so I know that like when you dump somebody, it's easier to do it when there's someone else.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's someone else already,
Right, yeah.
and so I'm like waiting for any kind of that communication. I'm also like really paranoid about this kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
and it doesn't even have
so
to
it's
be
like
like
cheated on and stuff. So I'm like,
It
no,
doesn't-
no.
It doesn't have to be like him with a picture of her. You can see like him and then like a
Right,
girl's hand right
just in
next to his or
general.
something in the
That's
picture.
Yeah.
that's
It's
such
like,
a modern problem.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
what's interesting.
do you think Romeo and Juliet, like, or like anybody in the older times, they didn't care? Like, when
didn't care.
when someone broke up with you, you didn't see their carrier pigeon flying
Right.
to another guy's house and get like, you didn't get hurt that way. You know?
Right.
So it's just
carry a pigeon smell smelled like Benavir.
Breaking up with
Benavir.
somebody was so easier. 20 years ago, breaking up with somebody was so easy.
Especially if you're a
Dude,
royalty.
Tim,
you
breaking
just,
up 10 years ago was so much easier.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
That's what I just think social media is dangerous for self-esteem and self-worth.
Yeah.
It's true.
There's been studies
It's
on this.
dangerous.
There's so many studies
Yeah.
on that. Like when you're sitting at home checking social media because you have nothing to do, and then you're seeing everything that you quote unquote weren't cool enough to get invited to.
Right.
You start overthinking, and
and
it's-
side issue
yeah.
too. What if people post like weight loss and like muscle stuff all the time? And how much is that hurting somebody who thinks that they're not good enough because they aren't fit?
But
just adding
here's
to
the devil
yeah.
advocate to that, though, is that I think it's really cool empowering accounts.
Yes.
It's just hard with like anything else. There's two sides. So it's like, you know.
On the one hand, you're happy for this person. On the other hand, you kind of are jealous in a way or envious.
Well, I
it's the
think-
same thing with people posting with their significant other all the time, like inseparable posts
Right.
of them and another. Well, what if somebody's single or hurting, or somebody just broke up with somebody, etc. You know, there's a positive and a negative to pretty much anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And an important thing is there's always the unfollow button. Like I think that's what people don't understand
Right.
is that there is a way. Like Tyler the Creator had a great quote. He on Twitter he said, "What is cyberbullying even? Like you just turn off the computer, walk away, go outside. Like
Right.
don't
Yeah,
look at it."
It's true.
Well,
Yeah.
that again, that's why I think it's dangerous.
It's like
because
we're, yeah, but,
it's
But you do
because
have
so many
some
people are used
control.
to this world. Like our generation kind of remembers a time when we didn't have phones and maybe we didn't have that. But there's a generation now that's just growing up in it.
Right.
And when things happen on there, it's almost like happening in real life. It might as well be because it's the world that they just grew up in. Like the social
Right.
network's always been there. You know, there's no parties that like teenagers are at where everyone isn't on their phone. It's just cyberbullying, even though like you say, yeah, you could just walk away and it's not a big deal and you should be able to get over it. But there's so many kids who take it so seriously, and
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
unfortunate that so many of them take their lives when they're bullied just by somebody picking up their phone and
right.
that's
To the
it.
point where on the Muni, for example, I feel self-conscious if I don't have my phone out.
Really?
Like
Yeah, you're looking
sometimes
around
when I'm just
everyone,
looking
yeah.
around
Yeah,
at people,
and then somebody looks at me like, why is that guy looking around? Is he crazy? He's got a phone.
why am
in
I
front of
looking
him.
at other
That
people in the
happens to me.
face?
That happens to me
weirdo.
when I'm waiting for coffee.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be standing there and people look up from their phone at me and just like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Just waiting
Like,
for my
I'm
coffee.
living.
Yeah.
Taking in the atmosphere. Yeah. But do you think the lower your self-esteem, the more you post on social networks and the more you try and get that like that serotonin hit of getting a like or whatever, the more you try?
I think it might depend. See, it's hard because I'm older. I'm like 25, so I'd like to think that I have thought through these things so much, but it's like what worries me is the 17-year-old girl that isn't as pretty or skinny or has as much money, therefore can buy clothes that fit them right. You know, that's what gets me.
Yeah.
It's like I can handle it because I'm 25 years old and
Yeah.
I know what I like about myself. I know what I don't like about myself. I've heard everyone say everything they can about me, kind of thing.
Yeah. Once you've kind of gotten it enough, you're like, okay, this is getting old. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care what you say. Like this
Right.
is, like I think of maybe not a good example for that, but like with Facebook and worrying about likes. I remember when me and Anthony first met, we used to be super obsessed over how many likes we'd get over some of our statuses on
Oh, yeah.
Facebook
Oh, it was
because
so
that's
sad.
where we used outlets for jokes, like writing jokes and stuff like that back then. You know,
Which I think is not bad.
no, it's not.
You know?
But it came to the point where we would. I think he was actually counting the likes that I had total over like
right,
a
right,
year
right.
span, and so is he. And we like
So
just
sad.
just to see who had
Right.
more likes on their jokes. And it was like it was not like we were actually competing, and it wasn't like super petty, but it was just like
What are we doing?
We wanted to know like who. Like how much do people actually appreciate
Also
us? How
the-
can we gauge this with an actual number? Like,
Also, the time we posted, we had like a bunch of science on that. Like if we post like at like 3 o'clock, that's when people are getting out of school and checking Facebook.
So
while they're
my
waiting.
question, how stoned were you guys when you were doing that?
not at all. We were loser freshmen. who
Oh,
didn't-
we were so bad. The only thing
something I would
the only
do.
thing we were high on was low self-esteem.
Right.
And we're back.
Man,
We're back.
that stuff really got us. Well, on that high note, we'll go to some more news and stuff. Yeah.
Be right back.
Candidates Scott Walker and Rick Perry are out. As for Ben Carson, he's only 1 point away from Trump in the latest polls. For the Democrats, Hillary Clinton is still receiving backlash for the email scandal that she just can't seem to shake. Bernie Sanders continues to rise in polls, and Joe Biden is still considering a candidacy. For the latest in politics and policies, make sure to tune in to It Matters, Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on KSFS Radio.
Thanks, Megan. And speaking of Donald Trump, actress Jennifer Lawrence says that if Trump becomes president, that will be the end of the world. Lawrence was speaking to Entertainment Weekly in an interview promoting the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. The sun is out today, temperatures in the 70s, lows in the 50s, expected to stay like this through next week. Broadcasting live from the KSFS studios in San Francisco, I'm Roger Al-Sheikh.
Hi, this is Little Steven for Rad. We all got to party now and then, but we've got to let somebody else do the driving. Please don't drink and drive, and don't drive with somebody else who's been drinking. Thank you.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Aaron, and I'm a survivor of mannequinism. Mannequinism is basically when you turn into a hard plastic shell. They say it's from not being politically active.
Sorry, I had to take down those news promos. Those things with the drinking and driving are really sad.
Welcome back to Tea Time.
Okay, so Anthony was just saying to me that he wanted to start off with a story, something that happened to us the other day, but I guess he has a segue.
Oh yeah, before we were talking about self-image and social media, and I think it's all about comparing yourself to other people. That's
Right.
all it is. Your night to their night, your life to their life, and I get compared to a lot of celebrities a lot. And so we were in line at Whole Foods, and
this clerk was hitting on me, and it was she was really into me, and I'll just preface it with that. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, and then so Lucas did the how are you? No, I'm not Bradley Cooper's ghost. All that standard stuff he has to say.
No, I didn't do that, but that's his joke.
But anyway, so he made her really uncomfortable by staring deep into her soul with those blue eyes, and then after that he said, "How
Can't
are
control
you?"
the blugels.
And so when I asked how she was, it felt disingenuous because he literally had just asked it.
Anyway.
So I said, "Oh, you took my line," and then while I was paying, she gave me this look like you look really familiar.
She was squinting at him, and I knew I was like, she's gonna say you look like Paul Giamatti or you look like someone. And then she said it. She went, "You look like someone," and I was like, "Yeah." She said it, and I said that out loud, and we started talking about it. And then he's like, "It's Paul Giamatti," and all the other girls in line were just laughing like too. It was just.
I get it almost like twice a week. Paul Giamatti.
Yeah,
Is.
but he kind of has embraced it. Anthony more than anyone uses that in his humor. In his stand-up more than anything is he'll use jokes that just to make fun of himself so that go ahead, I want to talk for you.
Oh, but yeah, you have to know how physically attractive you are, because I know that I can approach a woman and she won't immediately back away, and then the other side is I know I can never wink at anyone. That's not my skill set. I'm not physically attracted enough to wink at people. The last time I winked at a girl, she was like, "Did you just wink at me?"
Oh my God,
and I said, "Apparently not, because you had to ask." So,
Right.
I don't know what I just did, but it wasn't winking.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's a lot of my stand-up is self-deprecating on myself, or making fun of myself a lot, so I can make fun of the audience and it's okay because I just brag to myself.
Winking is such a ambiguous. I don't know. I've seen a lot of old people wink at me, and it's not sexual. Like, "Hey, kid," and it's like, "What was that?" I feel like to them winking meant something different, and today it's like, "Hey," I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe our generation is just more sexual, but I've seen a lot of old people smile and say something funny, and then wink at the end of it, and I'm just like, "The heck?"
You're like, "Please
It's like a
stop."
punctuation. It's like,
Yeah.
Straight white boys ruined winking.
yeah.
That's
I only wink at the people that I'm allowed to kiss.
What?
So if I can kiss that person, then I'll wink at them. But
Okay.
otherwise, I won't. Because I don't.
Is
think
it like
it's
a warning?
I don't
Like,
think
oh,
it's.
God, here it comes.
I don't think it's something that you do to strangers. So
No.
I'm trying to think of it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been winked at. I mean, I'm sure everyone winks.
don't
I
know.
did teach my roommate
I've never
how to
used it on a
wink.
girl, at least not like in this generation. I don't think I have. I've never hit on someone.
Winking is just like it's like
To me, it's
It's
awkward. It's like
subtle.
it's like you have to be at like an 11.5
we're having like
to
a
pull it off.
winking
Like,
contest.
I would lose unless it's golf rules. I would lose a winking contest so
That's
hard.
funny. Anyways, self-image.
So another topic about self-image I wanted to talk about. One of my favorite bits that Nick Offerman, the guy who plays Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec, talked about is in his book is avoid the mirror. The mirror, avoid it. Just the mirror isn't really what it is. It's like he talked about it as if it was like a tunnel to all the other mirrors in the world, and it's like you're not seeing you're seeing you and what you'd like to look like, and all the other things that everyone else wants to look like. So he's like, when I look in the mirror, I don't see me, I see Catherine Zeta-Jones. And how come I don't look like Catherine Zeta-Jones? And you angle yourself in different ways, like 5 or 10 times in a row, just to, like there, that's the perfect angle. And you walk away, and then you think about it over and over in your head, and it's like there's too many mirrors, and that's what selfies have done. They've added more mirrors everywhere and more things for people to just like check themselves and just like, okay, I look good. He's like, mirrors should just be for checking when you have like
boogers in your nose. Yeah.
Like I want to say it, but crap in your hair. It's
Yeah.
like making sure that you don't have anything on your face, like so you don't like
Or
let me just
bleeding,
check.
yeah.
Okay, I'm good. And
Have
then
you
like walk out.
have you guys ever been conscious of a time when you were like really, really not sober, no matter what you were on, and you looked in a mirror and you were just like, that's me.
Yeah.
You know, because I think that filter is taken off in
Yeah.
those
Mhm.
moments. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
sometimes you're like, all right. And then other times you're like, I need to go home.
Yeah.
You know, like you
Yeah.
feel fine.
I know
Like you're
what you mean.
partying and you go
Because
pee and then
yeah.
you're like, ah.
Because you looked at yourself before you went out and you looked fine. Like you were all ready
well, and
to go.
also your
and then,
perception,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
those kind
Well,
of things usually change for the positive for me. I'm
You know,
like,
that whole
man,
thing-
I'm sexy.
Yeah, because when you're drunk and you see someone, you're like, oh, that's attractive. Maybe it's because of the alcohol. I've even thought that looking in the mirror, like, oh, I'm drunk right now. You look good, you know, like
Yeah.
just like.
There's definitely been a time where I'm like with somebody, like you're like hitting on someone at like a show or something, and you're like totally going home tonight, like we're gonna hook up. And then I go in the bathroom and I'm like, what? Why? Why?
Yeah.
Is
what?
he?
I'm like,
is
did
he
I
looking
look like this the whole time? And I'm like, we are both hammered, so at least
Yeah.
we're on an evil playing field.
Yeah.
Even, not evil, even playing
that is an
field.
evil
an
playing field.
evil playing field?
My tongue didn't finish the
Yeah.
end sound.
What should make a person feel good about themselves? As oppo-
Themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that, like, being a good person and, like, you know, drinking enough water and, like, maybe not even exercising, but just being outside, I think is good for you.
I lost 15 pounds in the last month, and I feel good about myself.
Congratulations, Tim.
I haven't
Exactly
eaten
like
anything in a week and a half. Yay.
People don't give yourself.
That's how I did
People don't give themselves like a foundation to actually build their self-esteem off of.
New word.
Yeah,
New word Tuesday.
evil.
Self-esteem.
And the Swedish philosopher Stoffel, who I was quoting, obviously, he said that you have to start with a foundation to build your self-esteem off of. So even if you know you're not going to go back to the gym for like, or you're not going to stay going to the gym, just go back for a week or even like a couple days, and you'll have no idea the basis you've already built with like the self-esteem. Well, you already have more self-esteem to keep going. So like, people see it as like, I need X amount of self-esteem before I can do anything, but it's like a
Right.
gradual process that you have to really work on.
So do you guys think, because my first reaction based off what you're saying of having like a base level, do you guys think that starts with how you're raised?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
like personally, I have crazy body image issues because my mom was always like super obese me growing up, and like we never did anything. We only went camping because I was in Girl Scouts, and like she was always on a diet. I knew very young that she was addicted to diet pills really young, and so I am aware of it. And I have like crazy body image issues. Like the perception of my body is insane, like to other people.
Yeah.
And I think
No,
that might be.
that has a huge result with it. Like I'm a twin, and my brother and I were pretty much raised the same way until my parents decided that they needed to give my brother a lot more attention in a lot of areas, and as a result of that, they kind of like let me go be independent and do my own thing. So I always wonder. I always look back, like if that hadn't have happened, how would I be different? Like how would I, because like ever since a certain age before my brother, I had to do stuff on my own, and then comparing our self-esteems now, he just moved out to a new place. He's really nervous to like move out from home because he went to school at home. So it's interesting with twins that were raised the same and then
But you're
like,
not the same.
Not really, yeah. So
I mean, I guess my parents didn't put any kind of stimulus when it came to my physical form, which is a blessing and a curse in the same swing, because I was never told that I was good looking, but I was never told that I was ugly either. They literally didn't mention at all. The only thing that they did mention was, you were so cute when you were a baby. That was pretty much
Weren't
it.
we all?
Still a compliment.
Yeah. And then, but what was more the critical thing is one of my parents would criticize what I do and how I do it. So I wasn't confident in a lot of things that I did growing up, because I was kind of just waiting for somebody to tell me how to do it perfectly, or else I wouldn't do it at all.
Right.
And that kind of that hurt me as a person to feel like, man, can I ever be self-sufficient,
Yeah.
But that didn't have to do with my physical form. But the only thing that did was the fact that they didn't say anything. So I literally still have no idea like how attractive I am to other people.
But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
It's not. No, I mean,
it
is what it is. It's just a meh kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm I look in the mirror and I say, these are the things I don't like.
Right.
And I can't really point out the things that I do. It's not like, oh, I have a great blank. And I can't say that I have a terrible blank either. But I can just make up for myself what I think I look like,
Yeah.
And I think all the time, I'm like, well, she's beautiful. Would she ever want to talk to me? Or like, he's good looking. He probably hangs out with better guys than, stuff like that.
It's hard to, I guess, pick what looks good. One thing I think I've made peace with is that it's changed over time. And if you look at different generations, women's, like, what people have idea of women has changed. Like, people used to like heavier set women, and now, like, the media really only portrays skinny women.
Right.
Yeah.
There were times where it wasn't always the same, and I think you're just gonna always be living in a society that maybe all will agree on this is what we all like.
Have you seen Marilyn Monroe? My goodness.
The movie?
No,
Or just
her
her
person.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like,
she's gorgeous.
her
But here's the thing too, is that like, look at ancient paintings and like Renaissance paintings. Look at paintings of Venus. That didn't change until like 70 years ago, like the 20th century.
Yeah.
Like,
1910s, 1920s.
I think about that all the time. That it's not even heavier set women; it's healthy, normal women.
Right. That's what
you know. Like,
people weren't concerned with like the shape of views.
No. I understand what you're saying, but like that's the thing is that Marilyn Monroe worked out. You know, and like when I don't worry about what I look like, I'm like totally proportionate and everything's fine. But I get on the scale and I'm like, what? I don't feel like I weigh that much, but it's not supposed to. It shouldn't matter.
It's just a number.
Right.
Yeah, and it's gonna.
because you gained muscle while you were working out, like that's the
well,
the
and in
weird thing,
general, our bodies are like.
And especially women's weight fluctuates. You can't
right.
really.
And like women that have a bigger up top than I do are automatically going to weigh 5 to 10 pounds more than I do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're fat. Like my roommate's girl that he was dating, we were talking about this, and she's slender, she's beautiful, she's, and he was like, oh, she weighs 150 pounds. And I was like, to me, that's insane because I am shorter than her by like 4 inches or something. And I've always been more muscular than my best friend, and she weighs like 108 pounds, and I weigh like usually like 125 pounds. And when I told her that, she's like, what? Because to her, that was like overweight. And to me, I'm like, no, that's like normal. Like, I'm strong and you're not, and I can run a mile and you can't. So
it goes back to the comparing thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny that you brought up comparing, because I was journaling a little while ago, because obviously I think we've all been thinking about this a lot. Like, I think our generation is really concerned with this social media image thing, which is why we're all starting to like blacklist Photoshop and stuff like that. But I think comparing is like a really important term for this topic even, is it is comparing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, does my
on
picture
almost
look as
every
good as her
level.
picture?
Yeah, at
right.
every level.
Right.
Yeah.
Is my day as fun as her day looked? Is my day as fun as his day looked? Like,
Yeah.
you know, the ex-boyfriend, like, did I have as much fun as he did today? Because that means that he's winning.
Yeah.
And it's like,
winning what? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, what about when you
Everything's
go
a
on
competition.
vacation and then you're doing that and then they're in school or doing something boring?
Right.
You're always going to be jealous of someone else. Like, yeah, I've been on vacation and been jealous of my friends in vacation. Like,
Right,
they're,
right, right.
they're just somewhere else. Like, oh, I wish I was there, but I'm in Hawaii now. Like, this is cool. I can
In those
appreciate that. Like,
instances, mystery was better because we didn't know what people were doing or how fun they were having.
you can
unless
appreciate it for
asked
when they
them.
told you, hey, guess where I was? Oh, that's cool. Like, you weren't, oh man, look at how much fun they're having the
Right.
whole time.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
well, and also I feel like it's funny because it's not even, it's like you not thinking about them. What does that mean? It means you're living your life. You know, it's just crazy.
I'm contemplating deleting my social media for
I
a
have
week.
thought about
I've done it
deleting
so
my
many times.
Facebook.
Yeah.
So many times.
Yeah.
But
But then I think of the family members too, though. But then I think of the people, which is why I have it, is my godmother in Portugal that I don't have a phone number for her anymore.
Yeah.
And so I hit her up and was like, hey, I'm going to Portugal.
Yeah.
Let's hang out.
Yeah, because Facebook's done great things and brought a lot of people together. I know my
Right.
mom has found some of her old friends on there,
Right.
and then that's great. But and then they love Facebook for that. But I'm just
I feel like at this point,
over it.
Facebook is made for people over 40.
Yeah, it's like it slowly got
You
to
know?
that. The only reason it wasn't earlier is because they didn't know how to use
Started at
Facebook.
Harvard.
Well,
Right.
they just took longer to figure out how to use the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it started at Harvard. You know, it was a small thing during the MySpace years,
Yeah.
and then it started to grow.
Right.
It was just confusing, and now it's simple, easy to use. Yeah.
Yeah, I think turning it off would be beneficial just for the fact that if somebody wants to get a hold of you, you just say, have your number on your page. They can find you if they really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And anybody else who doesn't matter.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's like you are wasting 45 minutes like between classes instead of reading a book. You're on Facebook.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna stop us right here. This is a really good topic. We'll come back, but we gotta take one more break. I hope you guys are liking the music. I've been trying to pick more stuff that is less lyrical, because I don't like having words talking over our words. But this is David Maxim Michich. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. My friend is a huge fan. He'd probably kill me for butchering the name. But look him up. Really great artist.
Just one guy does all of that.
Yeah, he does all this. He does all the work. And I mean, he uses other voices for other people to do it, but he organizes the whole thing, composes it.
It's pretty cool.
David Maxim. Anyway.
Welcome to Tea Time.
Welcome back. We've got 10 minutes left. It's been a pretty good topic. We've been talking about some really good stuff. Self-image always gets back to social network with our generation. What were we just talking about right before we went? You guys were talking about something.
It's all
and I
about
cut you
comparing.
off.
I think so.
Yeah, we were at the end of comparing.
It's a very circular
one
conversation.
thing that went through my head is, what about those times when someone not just messages you, but messages you through a specific type of social network app, and it means something different than if they did it through a different one?
Do you have an example?
Like if somebody messages you through like a Facebook message, that's sort of like,
Instead
okay,
of
that's
texting you?
normal, versus texting you versus an Instagram direct message,
Right.
versus
Yeah.
a Snapchat.
So-
So it almost, even if it was the same message each
Right.
time, it's almost a different context.
Well, that's funny that you bring that up, because I watch Girls, and there was this segment, there was like, a 2-second thing where she said like, no. And she like went over the hierarchy of messaging or
Yeah.
like talking to someone.
Yeah.
And she's like, first is in person. Second is phone call. Third is email. Fourth is Facebook. And I was
Yeah.
like, kill yourself.
I don't even think about email, or even
I
the
would never
hierarchy or
email
anything like
somebody.
that.
But it's
Yeah,
like,
unless it's professional. But
right. Well, honestly, it's hard. I don't believe in dating sites any
No,
kind.
yeah.
So to me, I think I'm like the outlier of this. But
Yeah.
like, I'm the kind of person where there's been like 2 or 3 instances where I'll meet a guy. So for example, at work tour or like a Paramore show, and this guy was selling shirts, and I was like, hey, like he's cute, and we just talked to each other, and I was like, oh, I live in San Francisco. He's like, I live in San Francisco, and I was like, cool, my band has a show on Thursday, so next Thursday at Elbow Room. And I was, because the guy, my friend that I was with dates younger girls, so there's like literally like these 18-year-old girls with us. Keep in mind I'm 24 at this time.
right.
They're like, why didn't you get his number? And they're like yelling after him. And I'm like, because if he really likes me and I'm super into like things working out.
Yeah.
So I was like, if he's really into it, he'll come to my show.
So that's,
and
that's a question I was actually going to ask you. Since you're not into dating sites, that
Right.
means that you're most likely going to be the kind of person that approaches dating in a laissez-faire type of way.
Sorry, laissez-faire.
Hands off. Hands off. Like if it happens, it happens kind of thing.
Yes and no. Depends on how much you like each other. Depends on, like, if they're in my friend group, I know I'm going to see them. So I just kind of wait to see them.
Mm-hmm.
If it's somebody that I meet, then I give them my number and I'm
Yeah.
like, hit me up.
Yeah.
If it's somebody that I like,
Do you prefer to get their number or give your number?
see, I don't really care about that kind of stuff as much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
I'm
like
not
giving
a rule
it.
person.
I like giving it just for the mystery
the
of will
thing.
they contact me
Right.
first. Even if I really, really would have been the one to text them first, it's kind of a nicer feeling just like that being out there and not putting
Right.
a lot of pressure on it, but that would be cool if they started the conversation.
Sometimes there's a big change between you asking for numbers all the time versus you giving numbers all the time, because
true.
if you give numbers 100%, then you're going to know who exactly wants to put effort into seeing you in general.
It's funny what those 18-year-old girls were thinking. They were like, how are you going to contact him? Like, how will you ever see
like
him
the
again?
universe, baby.
Yeah, and it's like, that's how people used to see each other. They would
Right.
go, oh yeah, I'll be here Friday at 8, and then they were
Right.
there Friday at 8. And
Well,
like,
in a way,
there's
the-
no other communication needed.
Right, and the funny thing is, which way is cooler? Some girl like not worrying about seeing you, or give me your number. So I was like, this is a lesson,
It depends.
ladies.
Depends on the girl
It
for
does
me.
depend. It depends on everything. Like I'm not a rule person. Like
Context.
I don't have whatchamacallit.
Formula?
No. For guys, like if I like the same kind of guy.
You don't
Type.
like having
Type.
the
I
types,
don't have
yeah.
a type.
Right,
I don't
yeah.
have
We've had
rules.
this
No
conversation
font.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I
I
think
like
social
your
media
style,
has
though.
destroyed self-image.
That is
It
the
does,
close. That is
yeah.
the thing
Because
that.
even celebrities get weird, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, you know, one of my favorite things that I heard regarding Twitter, George Clooney said this. He doesn't have a Twitter account, and he says that he thinks it's wrong for any actor to have one, because how can you see them in the movie as they are playing that character
That's
when
true,
you
too.
just think about that thing they said last week on Twitter?
Which
Like,
doesn't
oh,
matter.
Makes some
It
sense.
doesn't matter, but
Makes
like
some sense.
people like they see this like, he said
Kevin
this
Spacey
about
really
he said this about religion, so how could I ever care about who he played in this movie?
But in the list of reasons not to have a Twitter as an actor, that's like, I don't know, that's number 5 or 6 for me. Number 1 would be like, if somebody cares about me as a person, they're not going to just look at just stuff I say off the cuff.
I know, but what he was talking about was like professionally, speaking, like how it can affect you and stuff like that.
Why would I
A lot of
hire
artists
an
have it
actor
for
who got
fun.
drunk and tweeted, I hate women? You know, like, why would I hire
But then
that
they're still
person?
getting the movie roles, which is again part of our problem with our society.
Yeah. Glorified people.
Yeah. Well,
That's a lot to talk about. I think we're going to have a week 2 to this topic.
Yeah.
What do you say?
That sounds good. I won't be here for it, unfortunately. But yeah, I have training next week, guys. I won't be here because I'm starting a new job.
At a
and
small
the first
startup.
week that I'm there, they have to, for some reason, have me there.
It's a small tech startup.
It's cool. I'm really
very happy
I'm really
for 'em.
excited. Hopefully, this is the kind of job that will keep me here in the city because this is where I love to live.
Yeah.
It's full of different
to all
types
the girls
of types of
listening,
people.
remember you're awesome.
Yeah, so closing statements.
guys,
For self-image,
girls, you're
I'm
amazing.
just
You're
giving the
To,
girl.
to all the Paul
Empathy.
Giamatti looking guys out there, there's
Keep
hope.
it up.
There's
Yeah.
hope.
To all the
Just-
redheads, don't let people tell you you have no soul. Because you do.
And to all those white boys out there, you have no issues to complain about. Just
So shut up and go to
Shut up.
sleep.
And stop asking, and then what?
Well, thanks Tea Time for having me on today.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Megan.
no problem.
Thanks,
for coming
Anthony,
on.
too, for being on.
Yeah,
Of
thanks,
course, I love it.
Anthony.
I love it here.
And
We're going to hand it off to Jack in the Pocket
yeah,
because he's going to play some
You should stay tuned. It's really,
really
good stuff.
groovy tunes.
Yeah.
So.
you got anything that we can plug here, like something you're gonna play first or anything like that? No.